I know hundreds of people in support groups for my disease who are completely relying on Medicaid to live. I am Kaeley Pruitt-Hamm. I am 27 and I grew up in small town eastern Washington state.
My name is Hetnar and I live in West Seattle.
My name's Chanel White and I'm 25 years old. At the age of 20, I was diagnosed with an incurable and progressive autoimmune disease.
4 months ago, I wouldn't be able to sit up and tell you this story at all. So a lot of people don't have the capacity, the health, the ability physically to march in the streets or to go into your offices and explain this to you. So that's why we're making this video, to be able to come into people's homes and let their voices still be heard and let members of Congress feel the urgency and the life or death nature of this situation.
So before the Affordable Care Act, I did not have insurance for many years. And thankfully, my health was fairly good, and so it wasn't super scary. It was just like gambling a little bit by not having insurance. So when I couldn't work, I signed up for Medicaid, for Obamacare, and I don't know, I wouldn't have been able to get diagnosed. I wouldn't be able to afford any of the medication or testing or things that I would need in order to live.
The doctors told me that I would be very lucky to live the next 10 years. Luckily, the ACA kicked in shortly after I turned 19. So I was able to be put back on my parents' health insurance after I had lost it at age 18. So at that point was the first time the ACA saved my life.
I know that people who are wanting to repeal the Affordable Care Act have the best interest of the country at heart. I know that there's this desire and acknowledgement, a desire to care for one another and an acknowledgement of how people get sick and people need treatment, you know. But to put the healthcare industry even more into the hands of a few wealthy people who are thinking about what's going to make us more money in the next quarter, rather than people who are technically supposed to be held accountable to what's going to be the best for the greatest amount of people, what's going to be the greatest good for patients.
The fact is if you repeal the ACA without having something in place that protects pre-existing conditions, that protects us from lifetime and yearly coverage gaps, you will be killing the chronically ill. You will be killing people that are already fighting so hard for their lives. You are forcing them to give up, and I just don't think that's fair.
So I am just pleading members of Congress, for the sake of everyone, to not repeal the Affordable Care Act and to not move healthcare into the hands of the private sector even more. People are asking you to fight for us.